Okay. Well, thank you so much for everybody joining us tonight. So we are adapting our Just Ask an Agent. So we're bringing in a good friend of ours. By the way, I'm Clarence with Compass. And Sonia Huang, would you like to say hi to everybody?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Sonia Huang. I'm the mortgage planner with the Loan Story.
And we have Jim Knipple from Edward Jones. Jim, like to introduce yourself and then tell them a little bit who you are.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. So I am a financial advisor with Edward Jones, helping people with whatever their financial goals are, whether it be retirement or buying a house.
So we're mixing this. We're adding Jim to the mix here. You'll see Jim occasionally, and just to make sure we get handling everything, getting your questions answered. Because a lot of times about buying a home, or let's think about this investments in retirement. It's important to have Jim as part of the mix in terms of the getting a additional perspective to help you build towards a down payment or give you other investing options that make sense for your own financial situation. So anyway, so I'd like to start off with, we'll be taking turns asking each other questions. If you have a question you want us to answer, now feel free to put in the Q&A button on the bottom. And if we notice that, I'll ask the question to the appropriate person. So let's start off the first question. The first question I'll be asking, I've been collecting from my clients, is to Sonia. And Sonia, no, down payments are the most challenging part for a lot of potential home buyers. And is there any down systems programs that are coming up or should be aware about that might be helpful for a potential buyer, either in the short term or in the future?
Yeah, thank you, Clarence, for the question. So in different counties or city, there are always a variable down payment assistance program, but the assistance might be limited. So back in April, California offered 20%, up to 20% down payment assistance, and they budget about 300 million for that. And originally they thought the funds would be available for a couple of months, but it actually was reserved for within a week. So because the program is so popular, California just approved another 200 million available for first-time home buyer up to 20% down payment assistance, which is still available, but I don't know when. So please keep us, I will keep everybody posted and stay tuned for our channel so I can let you know when 200 million is available for everybody. And speaking of down payment, I actually have a question for Jim, because besides using down payment assistance program usually has an income limit. Jim, as a financial planner, can you tell us more about utilize retirement for down payment?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I think a lot of people don't realize that they have the opportunity to do. If you have a 401k or a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA, that is something that's available to you. Now, let me give you a caution real quick, because that tends to be the most powerful resource people have for later in life. And by tapping into it now, it can have impacts down the road. So make sure you understand, talk to someone like me, talk to me, and we can understand exactly how that could impact you. The other thing to just remember about that is there's generally a limit of about $10,000 that you can pull out, and that'll go towards it. If it's in a regular 401k or a traditional IRA, you are going to be responsible for the taxes. So that number is not going to be 10,000 when you end up doing your taxes the next year. You're going to owe taxes, like income taxes on it. It'll count as income. If it's from a Roth, you're fine. You're not going to have to owe any taxes on it, assuming you've had the Roth open for at least 5 years. So that's the trick. There are a lot of ins and outs. It is a little bit complicated. I'm happy to answer any questions people might have about it. So
that's great. Thank you.
I love it. Well, I have a question, it turns out. And one of the things as a financial advisor that I get asked a lot from my clients is what's happening in the market. And whenever they start thinking about buying a house, they ask me, well, what's happening in the housing market? And I say, I don't know, let me ask my friend Clarence. So Clarence, what's happening in the housing market right now?
Well, it's unbelievable. I think right now, we're heading back to some level of seasonality. So early in the year, we had a little bit more inventory, but it's not as much as compared to the last couple of years. And I think that's probably the biggest shock to a lot of potential home buyers. when you saw the interest rates going up, that they thought home values would be a lot lower. And unfortunately, home values have gained quite a bit since the beginning of the year, as much as like 25% on the single family homes. Currently, we got the July numbers just came in, and July is the median sales price for a single family home in Santa Clara County is $1,077,000. So that is about almost 3% higher compared to last year. And part of that increasing home value is actually really fueled by the lack of inventory. Inventory levels last month is about 50, it's over 50% lower than last year, almost 60% actually, in terms of how much homes are being for sale this year compared to last year. So the inventory levels are not meeting the buyer demand, and the buyer demand is a little bit less than last year because of the higher interest rate, but the inventory levels are so extremely low that what remaining buyers are out there are forcing home values to go up a lot higher, a lot quicker, a lot faster during the last 6 to 7 months. So that's what the buyers are kind of facing with right now, but there's still plenty of opportunity to take advantage of this market, especially you start thinking about on a long-term basis. So anyway, knowing that, so I have a question for you, Jim.
Yeah.
That I've been getting from my clients, and looking is that besides looking at the retirement as a down payment, what other options do potential home buyers have in terms of trying to have a down payment in order to buy a home in today's market?
That's a fantastic question. And let me scope into one particular kind of group of people who tend to be the people who are looking to buy their first house, build a down payment. At least in my client base, it tend to be like tech workers, people who work at the tech companies or maybe pharma companies or something like that. And what they tend to think they have to do is take the stocks that they've been given from the company and sell them, and then incur this giant tax consequence by freeing up all this cash, and then use that for the down payment. So that's one of the things that a lot of people do. If you talk to me, there may be a different way to do it without paying taxes on it. And so that's one of the things to think about. You can actually take out a loan against your securities, and you can use that for your down payment. And the loan's incredibly flexible. It does have an interest rate, but basically we come up with a plan to pay it down over time using future equity vests from your comp. So it tends to save literally thousands of dollars for people. So if you know of anyone who's trying to build it, other than just like saving every month regularly, that's a great way to do it. Especially in our high interest rate environment we're in, you're actually getting more for your interest. But for someone who's like a tech worker who has a bunch of stocks or has built an investment portfolio, there's probably a better way to do it. And I'm always happy to answer any questions people have about that, because it is, again, kind of a complicated strategy. And so just make sure you know what you're doing. Yeah, good question. And I love solving problems like that. I'll be honest, like I live for that. So yeah, I have a question for you. And this is a lot of times my first-time home buyers, maybe they got into some issues before and they have a lower credit score and they feel like that's gonna really impact them and they're not sure what to do. What do you tell someone like that who is worried about what their credit score is?
Yes, thank you, Jim, for the question. And speaking of saving our clients' money, I'm the same with you. I would like to save our clients' money too. So
Yes,
when we run credit report, for people who have lower credit score, for example, 600 or lower 700, it's still good credit score, but their interest rate might be higher. Then we can provide the services that to help our client to give them guidance where and what to do to improve their credit score. And even for clients, for example, having a credit score 739, but having a 740 credit score can give them a better rate, just that 1 point. So
wow.
The credit company can give them advice how to improve that 1 point so they can save maybe a couple $100 a month just for that 1 point credit score difference. So it is available and it is free of charge. So I would like people talking to me so we can save them money. So thank you, Jim, for that question. So actually thinking about strategy to help our clients, I have this question for Clarence. So can you tell us what would be the mistakes that potential buyers usually made when buying?
Okay, the ones I'm coming across right now is they're trying to figure out when to time the market, and honestly, timing the market is extremely difficult because it's so volatile. But they're also trying to think about where interest rates are, and they think that lower interest rates could be to their benefit. Yes, it definitely lower interest rates could definitely be to their benefit, but I think they're also not factoring a couple things that's going to happen in the market in the next couple of years in terms of trying to make the most sense of going out on the market or not. And that's what a lot of buyers are trying to get over that wall. And what they're failing to think about is one, historic appreciation in terms of in the area. During the last 10 years, appreciation in Santa Clara County for single family homes was year over year averaging about 8%. So that happening again for the next 10 years, I honestly don't think that really is that realistic. Maybe 4 or 5% appreciation for the next 10 years every single year sounds to be a little bit more conservative in terms of appreciation. And that's how I would think I recommend my buyers to plan. If you're going to wait for next year or the year after, thinking the rates will come down, you should factor in appreciation of between 4 to 5%. Now, knowing that, they fail to think about if appreciation increases every year, roughly about 4 to 5%, they forget about the property taxes in terms of factoring what their costs are. So what buyers should be thinking about is the PITI, the principal, interest, that's the mortgage, the property taxes, the tax, and the insurance. Right now, the only thing that they have control in terms of trying to lower costs for the sake of during the time of home ownership is the principal interest, because you always could refi to a lower dollar amount, and insurance because you could shop around for different insurance companies or work with a mortgage broker trying to find the best rate and the best program that for you. But you can't really do that with the property tax. Property tax is pretty much set based upon the purchase price of your home, and it does increase. It's your amount that's due to the county increases by as a maximum of 2% every single year. And when you don't factor in the future appreciation, how that affects property taxes, they may not realize how much it's going to cost them in the long run to wait compared to buying it now. Even with the prices increase, the higher interest rates, it's because of the property taxes. So you can see even 1 year's worth, depending if it's a 4 or 5% appreciation, costing them a couple $1,000s on that first year, and wait another year, that's double. So not thinking like that at what the costs are for waiting, failing to think about appreciation is going to cost some money in the long run. And if you do refi, you could definitely lower your cost even more once you are a homeowner. So that's probably, I think, what the biggest mistake is, buyers failing to think about when they're trying to time the market, is what is future appreciation will be like in the next couple of years.
I completely agree. Thank you, Clarence. Exactly. For waiting for the interest rate to drop to buy, or waiting for the stock to go up to sell, probably miss your best opportunity to buy the house, right?
Yeah. And one thing about being a homeowner is like, people concerned about inflation, their cost. The most stabilizing effect you can have is to become a homeowner, especially if you're looking to live in a community between 5 to 10 years. That's going to lower down your cost, because rents are always going to go up, and you always could be able to lower down your mortgage at some point when the rates do come down. So I'm not seeing any other questions, but this is, we'll be doing this on a regular basis. You're going to see a comment, either all 3 of us or 2 of us every single month. So we'll be doing this on the second Tuesday of every month, and we'll be answering your questions about about either the financing part of you're trying to plan for the future, the mortgage side, or on about buying or selling in the area. And we'll be talking to our clients all the time about these questions, about what's happening, and we'll be asking those questions to each other because our clients are concerned about what each of us are doing in terms of our business. Is there anything else you guys like to add?
No, I think that's great. This was super helpful. Lots of good info in this time. Yeah.
So anyway, so hope to see you next month. And if you have questions, you could reach out to us. And by the way, what's the best way to get hold of both of you? So Sonia?
My email is sonia@thelonestory.com, or contact me by my cell phone 408-209-0154.
Jim, what's the best way?
And you can always reach me at my email, which is jim.knipple@edwardjones.com, or give us a call, 650-481-6042.
And if you need to get a hold of me for, just to get your questions answered, feel free to reach out anytime at clarence.madrilejos@compass.com, which is clarence.madrilejos@compass.com, or just give me a call at 408-390-5819. So I'll hope to see you next month, and we look forward to answering your questions.
Bye, everyone, and see you next month. Bye.
Thanks for joining us.
Right.